What is good, guys? Welcome to Flavo Rihanna's MMA show. I'm your host, Flavo Rihanna, brought to you by Four Corner Sports. All right, guys, so this is the preview show for Alexander Volkov versus Alistair Overeem. This is UFC Fight Night, held at the Apex. Yes, we are back. We are back at the Apex after having a three-fight show at UFC Fight Island. The UFC is back at the Apex in the small octagon. It is headlined by Overeem versus Volkov. All right, I'm only going to talk about the main card, so I'm going to kick it off with what we have. I'm going to give you guys a lineup. Benio Dariush versus Diego Ferreira. Askar versus Cody Stamann. Manel Kape versus Alexander Pantoja. Clay Guida versus Michael Johnson. Frankie Edgar versus Corey Sandhagen. And lastly, the main event is Alistair Overeem versus Alexander Volkov. All right, so without further ado, we'll kick it off with the main event. Alistair Overeem is, going into his final resurgence of him trying to get a UFC title shot. He's trying to go into have his last resurgence. He's, I believe, age 40, right? He is going into his age 40. He last lost against the Jairzinho Rozenstruik, who he was beating for the majority of 4 rounds in like 4 minutes. And then out of nowhere, Jairzinho catches that one power punch that breaks open his lip, which ends up stopping the fight, and Jairzinho Rozenstruik wins. From that point forward, he beats up on Walt Harris, beats up on Augusto Sakai, and he wants to be able to become, the heavyweight champ. He was a heavyweight champ at Pride, Strikeforce, you name it. The Demolition Man wants one more crack at that UFC title gold, all right? And he gets it done. He gets his thing done over Alexander Volkov. I think he might be 1 or 2 more fights away, and here's why. We still got to figure out what's going to happen between Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis. I can't see Overeem, fighting his teammate Curtis Blades, but I could definitely see Overeem fighting Derek Lewis. So we got to see what happens with that. Then you also have the fight between, at the end of the month, with Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Cyril Gane, right? That is more likely to be in the next fight for Alistair Overeem. I know Overeem wants that rematch against Jairzinho. I just feel like the UFC might go in that direction more than the matchup between Derek Lewis and Curtis Blades. Now, one more loss, I don't know. This might be like the Ric Flair effect. One more loss, and it might be that curtains for Alistair Overeem. Because Alexander Volkov does have the potential of getting a win over Alistair Overeem. Is it a one-punch knockout? No. I just don't see it like that. Don't see Volkov having that much power, that much force to knock out Overeem within a round. But what I do see is Volkov, grinding it away for 2 to 3 rounds, and then him going to attack the body, and then him trying to take down Alistair Overeem, forcing him to have the referee step in and stop the fight. That's what I do see from Volkov. But I see Overeem taking down Volkov, having him on the floor, wrestling him, and then him doing dirty boxing, ground and pound, getting enough to get the victory. So I have Alistair Overeem, winning. I would say in the 4th round. In the 4th round, I have Alistair Overeem winning. Next, for the co-main event, I honestly think the co-main event should have been the main event. You're going to have Corey Sandhagen versus Frankie Edgar. The answer himself is facing Corey Sandhagen. All right, Corey Sandhagen has been one of the better bantamweights in the world. His only loss was against Alistair Overeem when he ended up getting choked out in a matter of under a minute. But, man. I really do think that Frankie Edgar needs to get this done. he gets this done, we might be one fight. We got to just look at that one fight for on UFC 259. Casey Kenny versus Dominic Cruz. If Cruz gets past Casey Kenny and if Frankie Edgar gets past Corey Sandhagen, I think we do see a matchup of Dominic Cruz versus Frankie Edgar, which I would love to see. I would love to see that. But that for sure has to be a fight night. It has to be 5 rounds. It just has to, right? But let's not forget that Corey Sandhagen, knocked down Marlon Moraes not that long ago. Knocked him out, hurt him bad. Did that spinning heel kick. Bam, it was over. It was just over. But with that being said, the fighter that wins that fight for the co-main event between Frankie Edgar and Corey Sandhagen, I'm gonna give it to the answer himself. I think Frankie Edgar sends Corey Sandhagen with his second loss. Yes, his second loss in his career. I think Frankie Edgar gets it done inside the 4th round. I think his tenacious wrestling and his boxing, he's going to be able to utilize that to a degree where Sandhagen's not going to be able to enjoy that. I think Sandhagen's going to burn out a lot of energy trying to stuff those takedowns by Frankie Edgar, and I just think that Frankie Edgar is going to be able to get it done. Next, you have a matchup between a UFC legend and a UFC veteran. Clay Guida, the Hall of Famer. He had a Hall of Fame fight. Clay Guida, he is fighting Michael Johnson, which I feel like these two has had very bizarre, I would say UFC careers. Clay Guida was very famous for that fight that he had against Diego Sanchez when they were both clubbing it out, left, right, left, right, left, right. And Michael Johnson, who has been around, had a murderous row, facing people like Khabib, facing people like a Dustin Poirier. I don't know. I think Manel Kape is, for him to, I'm sorry, not Manel Kape. For Clay Guida to get it done, he's going to need to knock out Michael Johnson in the 3rd round. Michael Johnson, for him to get it done, he's going to need to get past Clay Guida inside the first 7 minutes. He finishes Clay Guida inside the first 7 minutes. I'm going to have very, very, very high confidence in Michael Johnson to get it done moving on forward. But I just feel like he burns out himself, way too much. And I think the Carpenter might be able to get the job done this time. I just think that he might be able to get the job done. Next, you have Manel Kape versus Alexander Pantoja. Dana White has said it before. This is the fight to look out for. I'm agreeing with Dana White. I think Manel Kape, he was the backup fighter for the December pay-per-view card that was led by Davison Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. Just wasn't heavily announced. But I love this fight. I think there is nothing wrong with this fight. I think Alexander Pantoja is going to bring the violence to Manel Kape. I think Manel Kape is going to be able to show his skills in the very beginning. And I don't know. I think Manel Kape gets it done. 2nd round, high kick to the noggin to Alexander Pantoja. I think Alexander Pantoja becomes a little bit too far aggressive for his own wrong or, doing. And next, you have a matchup between Cody Stamann versus Askar Askarov. Not Askar Askarov, but Askar Askarov. His parents loved him that much that they had to name him twice of the same name. So Stamann coming off of a loss against Jimmy Rivera, no shame in that whatsoever. And then Askar 11-1. Last fight he ended up having was on October 2nd for the LFA. I don't know. I want to say that Askar gets it done in his UFC debut, but Cody Stamann, when he's on, and he could be pretty violent. Just a matter of Cody Stamann, being able to control the fight with his jab. But I don't know. I'm gonna go with the rookie for his UFC debut. I just think that Askar will be able to get it done. And then lastly, you're gonna have the fight that I think that might ends up winning fight of the night. Benil Dariush versus Diego Ferreira. This is the rematch, guys. Yes, this is the rematch. I think Benil Dariush is what's it called? This guy has like very like underrated power. I mean, you saw that infamous spinning back fist that he did, and I just think that this rematch, what's it called? They're gonna try to hype it up a little bit, but I don't know. I just think that Diego Ferreira, since he hasn't last fought since that fight he had against Anthony Pettis, he has been, I don't know. I would just say that it is I don't know. I want to leave on Diego Ferreira, but I just think that the octagon time is really gonna come into effect against somebody like that is a Benil Dariush. I think Benil Dariush will be able to capitalize that. I think whenever he gets hit, he gets stronger and he becomes a little bit more accurate. I think Diego Ferreira, only way that he wins is he has to bring him down to the floor, use his jiu-jitsu to be able to capitalize on the moment. But I got Benil Dariush winning that fight in 2 rounds. Nothing has changed really, from his last fight to this fight that he had against Diego Ferreira. And I think Diego Ferreira is going to live down this moment and feel like, wow, I just couldn't get it done against somebody like a Benil Dariush. Well, guys, and then on top of that, you're going to have next week, you're going to have, the UFC 285. Not 285, 258. Just flip the numbers around. I'm so sorry about that. Next week, you're going to have UFC 258, Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns. You're going to have in the co-main event, Macy Barber. Yes, she is back, guys. She is back after having a torn ACL against Roxanne Modafferi last year. She is back. She is fighting Alexa Grasso. You're going to have finally Ian Heinisch fighting. He's going to be fighting Kelvin Gastelum. I feel like this is a fight that, took forever to make. Pedro Munoz and Jimmy Rivera. Oh, I can't wait for that fight. It's going to get on. I have a feeling that Munoz is going to bring it. And then you're going to have Julian Marquez versus Makai Piotr. I mean, I don't know why that's a fight on the pay-per-view card. I would have put Bobby Green or Jim Miller on that card. That's supposed to be the feature prelim. You have Anthony Fluffy Hernandez versus Rodolfo Vieira. And then you have Diego Lima versus Bilal Muhammad. Why isn't Diego Lima on the pay-per-view card versus Bilal Muhammad? That's a great fight. Brian Kelleher, the Boom himself, against Ricky Simon. Then in the early prelims, you're going to have Miranda Maverick versus Jillian Robertson. Gabe Green versus Phil Rowe. Mallory Martin versus Polana Vina. There is a lot. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like the way that Kamaru Usman fights, but if you don't want to watch him fight, you don't have to. But please look at this. Look at what is available. I can't wait for that Ricky Simon Brian Kelleher fight. Plus, they're giving you Diego Lima versus Bilal Muhammad. You can't ask for anything better than that. You really just can't. But guys, until then, I'm your host, Flav Oriana. Thank you for tuning in to Flav Oriana's MMA show. And I'm going to give you guys a rundown after UFC Fight Night, Volkov versus Overeem. So then, I'll see you guys at a different date. Peace, guys, and have a good one. See ya.